Deontay just didn't have a good performance.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people say are saying that the changes that were made, taking away his aggressive come forward style, bombing out, balls to the wall style, hurt him. Um, that he's just boxing, moving, that hurt him. What's your response to that?
My response to that is I think it's humanly impossible. Okay, so we'll go off of the you can't teach your old dog new tricks, right? So we're gonna say hypothetically everybody is right about, or the people that's saying these things about, well, Malik changed his style. Well, if I changed his style, if I can't teach an old dog new tricks, why didn't Deontay just go into what he's known for doing?
Good
Because it's
question.
like, you get what I'm saying? And it's the answer is he just had a bad night in the office. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't Shelly Finkel's fault. It wasn't JD's fault. It wasn't Joey Scott's fault. Sometimes a fighter just have a bad night under the lights. And we could search and look for these answers, but I would understand people a lot more if after he knocked Hellenius out cold off the back foot and was disengaging the same way he was doing, I didn't hear people saying, why is Malik Scott changing his style then? Because, and the reason that they didn't is because I understand that human beings are big on results. I am too. But at the same time, you have to have some form of understanding with results. I've never seen Robert Hellenius, I've never seen no fighter in the history of this sport get knocked out cold frozen by a fighter off the back foot the way that we did Robert Hellenius.
Yeah, I was at that fight. That was
Yes.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. And we got a good result from that system that we did then. The same system, it didn't work for Jospeh Parker. But if you listen to me in the corner, and if people don't just aren't so quick to just paint a picture and go with things as clickbait, just listen to me in the corner. It got to a point where I was telling Deontay, I don't care if Jospeh Parker has his high guard up. You are blessed with something that you could punch through someone's high guard, get through his high guard, punch through him. He tried it at times, but he didn't try it enough. And that's not a reflection of quote unquote my bad coaching or quote unquote JD's or quote unquote Don House. No, it's just literally he had a bad night in the office, whether it was mental, whether it was physical, whether whatever it is. I don't really have the answers for that. But what I do have the answers for is he's learned off that. He's in training now. And when I say training, I don't mean 2 or 3 times a week. I mean Deontay Wilder is training every day. He's back sparring. He's back doing strength and condition, and he has a vengeful side back to him, and that's good. And that's good. But this is not. I've been in this game too long to literally believe that I could get with a fighter after basically his whole career and think that I can change him. No, what I can do is add on. Now, do I want Deontay literally going straight forward with his head on the line and just throwing absolutely wild punches at someone? Absolutely not. Not at the high level, because now people could catch on to that and they could catch you while you're punching when you're coming forward. I still want him to be dressed down in defense after that fight. I still want him to be irresponsible. But we got to go forward. We got to punch through guys' guard, and we have to put our will on
Okay.
guys. And in that fight, Deontay didn't put his will on Jospeh Parker. And salute to Andy Lee and Jospeh Parker. They fought a very methodical, safety first fight. Like, you know what I mean? And it worked for him that night. It worked. He had his best night on Deontay Wilder's worst night. So,
Well, let me ask you this: you're a big guy on energy, right?
yes.
On people's energy. Deontay, this is what it looked like, but he also said it. He goes, "I think I'm too happy in my life right now," which I get. You know what I mean? I was a fighter too, and the
Yeah.
times when everything's going great, you're less likely to want to bash some heads as opposed to when you're frustrated, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that that played a big part? Is the fact that he's more in a peaceful place? He's being, doing the ayahuasca. And he's at the age now too. We all know this. Once you get to a certain age, that anger starts kind of just going down a little bit. Do you think
hmm It's
that's at fault here?
it's all possible. It's all possible. Because it's a different Deontay now than when it was 2015. He's not the same man. He has different experience. He may be more at peace and more happy in his life outside of boxing than ever. You hear people say it all the time. That's why you gotta commend the guys that wake up in silk pajamas, but they still get up in the morning and get their work done, because it's very, very hard. I never been in this position, but I can assume that it's very, very hard to stay 100% committed when you're waking up and you have everything that you always wanted for not just yourself, but you and your family. So that may have played a part, but I truly believe that what Deontay has in him, it can't be changed, and that's a killer instinct. I believe he's a killer. I believe on one night out of many, he just couldn't pull the trigger, and I've seen that happen on so many days. I've seen Antonio Tarver fight everybody with a certain kind of will, but then I seen him in with Bernard Hopkins, and he did absolutely nothing, like absolutely nothing. I've seen Hector Camacho fight everybody extremely
I mean,
well.
Roy Jones, after he lost to Tarver, he was a different person.
He just was a different person.
Yeah,
And after Deontay lost to Fury the third time, which was one of the best trilogies of all time, um, uh, he got right back in the gym. We came up with a system for Robert Alanius, and he was able to get one of the most explosive knockouts of all time off the back foot. He came right back after so many months layoff and got right back in, probably in the ring with probably one of the most active heavyweights right now, Jospeh
yeah,
Parker, who's kind of like, you could say like reincarnated and motivated as far as his career, new training and everything. So it was a big chance that we took to even take the fight after such a long layoff. But I'm just not good at making excuses.
sure,
I just know how to say my guy is willing to cross his T's and dot all his I's to get that back better. And that's what he already put his first foot forward in doing that, and that's committing himself to training the way
right,
that
right,
he was.
right,
We had a 3-week camp basically for the Jospeh Parker fight. Like if you notice the whole card, it really came out of nowhere. 3 to 4 week camp, and with the Saudis offer, you never could turn that down. In Deontay, we took a chance and we lost. He didn't lose. I lost too.
yeah,
JD's lost too.
yeah,
His family, Don House. You take these wins together, and since I come from boxing, I'm not one of these guys that when my fighter lose. If you look at it, I'm right next to Deontay before the fight. I'm talking loud before the fight. After the fight, when he's doing his interview, I made sure I step up in the camera. I made sure I stay by his side because one, he's my brother and I love him. Two, he's my fighter. Three, I believe in him more than I believe in any fighter in the world. And four, I just understand boxing. Anything can happen. We all are walking into the unknown. We all really don't know what's going to happen. I really felt though the whole heavyweight division was fucked from what I was seeing in a short camp. I truly believe that if Deontay would have went in there and did everything I seen him doing in camp, I don't think Jospeh Parker go the distance. That didn't happen. I was
right,
wrong. I'm not the first fighter that or the first trainer that was wrong about a
sure.
prediction, but I also was right. The last time I told people what he was going to do to Helene is off
He
the
did.
back foot.
Well,
I also was right telling people what I felt he was going to do to Fury in the third fight. In the third fight against Fury, I said Deontay would knock Fury out in 5 rounds. It almost happened. He had him down in 4 or 5 rounds, whatever that was, and it didn't happen. People have to consider the competition.
well,
Deontay is Deontay is not fighting guys that are just around. He's fighting the best heavyweights
right.
that the division has to offer right now. And his
Well,
and
let me ask you this, and I don't know if you can answer this. If you can't, fine. But um, do you
I
give?
can answer anything. I
Okay,
can answer
all
anything.
right, great. Do you give Tyson Fury credit for beating Wilder those times, or are you on board? You know, because there's a side of people who believe that there was, unfair cheating going on and all that. Like, what
Yeah.
side are you on with that whole thing?
I'm on. First of all, Tyson Fury has been known for actually doing certain things. He's been known for tampering with gloves. It's on camera. He's been known for taking certain type of substance. He's been called out on it. So when Deontay was saying these things and people act like they didn't know where he was getting it from, I disagreed with that. I thought what he said was relevant. I thought it held weight because the guy he was fighting, it was on video proof of certain things that he's done. If it wasn't on video, doctors have said it. So I understood that. But then also, I don't think that those things can make a fighter do technical things that Fury was doing well against Deontay. You know what I mean? I don't think steroids, I don't think tampering with gloves can make you know how to control guys with your forearms, to know how to use your weight on guys, to know how to do certain things. So I give him credit for the technical aspect and the game planning from Sugar Hill and even Ben Davis, because that's my favorite Tyson Fury, the Ben Davis Tyson Fury. But then again, that's not the TV friendly Tyson Fury that people like. So yeah, I give him credit, but at the same time, I understand where Deontay was coming from, and I understand where the allegations was coming from because this is someone that was caught in. in past history of doing certain things. So you can't just turn a blind eye to facts like that. And I wasn't going to do that. I was more concerned with Deontay going in there, beating him, punishing him, and making him pay for whatever he feels as though he did to him. It didn't go our way during that trilogy, but it was a hell of a fight. We came back and fought Hellenius, iced him, and we fought Jospeh Parker, and we came up short. And it was a horrific day in the office. And like I said, I took that loss too.
Right, right. Um, how did you and Deontay, because he was working with Mark Breland before
Yes.
that, and then he split with Breland, which I think there was also I don't know what happened. I heard that he was upset with Breland, but I don't know if that's true because I never heard Deontay really say it. But um, how did you end up hooking up with Deontay after he split with Breland?
Uh, Well, before him and Breland split, I always was a strategist in the camp with Deontay. Me, him, and JD's always came up with game plans, like I have been with all guys who camp I've been to. Um, I will offer more than just sparring guys because that's just not who I am. If I'm around a guy, I'm gonna make sure we film study his opponent. I'm gonna make sure we come up with game plans because if I'm with you, I want you to win because not just for you, for your family, and it looks better for you could say the sparring guys or the team. And when Breland threw the towel in, and Deontay didn't agree with it. And it's something Deontay always say he was against. When Breland did that, and Deontay fired him, later that night, when I was on my way back to from Vegas, Deontay called me and said, um, "We got to get another trainer." And he was like, "Who do you think, bro? We should go with?" Um, at this time, Nazim Richardson was someone that I was considering, and he was considering, but Nazim was at this time sick, and I was like, bro, we'll brainstorm on it some more. I'm gonna get some rest. You get some rest, and I'm gonna hit you when I get to LA, and we'll come up with it. He called me back literally 20 minutes later and said, bro, forget all the other trainers. I believe in you. I believe in your knowledge, and I also believe you could be a future Hall of Fame trainer in this. He was like, can you be my trainer? I said, say no more. Um, Immediately right then and there, we start game planning. It was a lot of court things going on with him and Fury because Fury was trying to go around the trilogy.
Right.
We won in court, so we was able to get the third fight. But that's how I got my job with Deontay.
Oh,
When Breland left, I'm not somebody that was chasing down the job to become head trainer. I'm not somebody that was mentioning to Deontay. All I did was what I usually do. I was myself, being myself, contributing to the team, and my knowledge and my experience. Deontay recognized, and he knew that he can use it for the better of himself.
right.
And to me, it's been uphill ever since.
Okay. Was there any point in the third fight where you considered stopping it, or you were never in that mind frame?
No, no, not at all, not at all. Because the kind of power Deontay possessed, and he's always in the fight, always in it. There never was a time that was, and I knew going into that third fight what Deontay wanted. He wanted to punish Fury. He wanted to be a two-time heavyweight champion, and if all else fails, he wanted to go out on his shield. And by him being a man and me being a man, and us having these deep discussions at night prior years to this and during this training camp, you could say I had a clear understanding on what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it, and that was in victory and defeat. So, what I mean, that's what that was.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. I consider Deontay the hardest puncher in history. Say what you want about Deontay. I always tell people, some people say, oh, he just has one punch. And it's like when you land that one punch on
Yeah,
everybody, that's a skill. There's ways to set traps. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you're the one who actually architects it. But um,
absolutely.
did you agree with Deontay not wanting to shake Fury's hand after the third fight?
If you know Deontay, you know how he felt about Fury. I wasn't shocked at all. I knew that was a very, very. He had a chip on his shoulder concerning the whole Fury thing. Um, and in some way have to be commended because a lot of fighters' energy change after a fight, the way that they feel about their opponent. Deontay stuck to his roots on how he really felt about himself. He didn't want to shake his hand, and that's just what it was. Like, what I mean, wherever I would have handled it that way or not, that's not what it's about. Me and Deontay are two different people. He handled his issues and what he feel about people at times different than I do.
Right.
So he felt as though, fuck Fury before the fight, and he felt as though fuck him after the fight.
Hmm.
And as long as a man is true to himself, all you could do is respect that, and I respect that.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I mean, yeah, those three fights were great, man. Super exciting. Okay, so who do you think is the most dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division besides Deontay?
Besides Deontay, I would have to go with it's a kid from Uzbekistan that I'm impressed with. Jolo. What's his
Oh,
name?
never heard of him.
Ah, no, you did. He's a Olympic gold medalist. He knocked Torres out in the Olympics. He knocked Torres is the heavyweight that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
represents America.
yeah, yeah. With the
Uh,
mustache. Yeah.
yes, I believe DeBella has him. He's fighting on this Day of Reckoning card too. His name was it's geez, I
Joe
can't remember the guy name.
Jolobov.
I believe so. Yes, I'm very, very impressed with him. He has power. He come across like very calm and cool. I'm not sure where his teaching is coming from, but they're doing a good job with him. There's more that they can do with him, but we're gonna see over time if they're able to develop him in a way that I believe he could be developed. But that's somebody that has scary, scary power. He's not overly anxious when he throw his power, and is literally coming from power. To me is when you can knock somebody out going either direction. This is like scary power. Power to me is when you can knock people out cold, not stop people. What Deontay have done over the years is literally have made grown men have seizures with 20-ounce gloves on. I've seen it with my own eyes, and he have made grown men go into shakes with 10-ounce gloves on. Sergey Lakovich, he almost killed off the Spilker. This is called scary power. This is called physical boxing, and this is what what's the kid name? I'm trying to pronounce Jobla. Jobla,
Joe
I believe that's his name.
Jobalov, I think.
Jobla, yes. This is the kind of power that he has to me. His presence kind of remind me of like an early Deontay mixed with a Mike Tyson. He's very calm and cool. He gets there first with his shot. Um, the landscape to me is just not very, very sexy right now.
Right.
You have some real good fighters, but I don't see like greatness coming from nowhere. I
Okay.
don't see like greatness coming from nowhere right now. But greatness is developed over time. Like I may not see it right now because guys is not fully developed right now. But that guy right there, he definitely could punch. He's definitely calm and cool. He's definitely technically sound. He definitely had the pedigree. He has the amateur background, and a lot of fighters have turned him down for big money
Mm.
already. And we gonna see.
I was talking with, I think it was Jameel McCline, I think, and I asked him who's the hardest puncher he ever been in there with, and he named a couple people. Then he goes, "But there was this young guy I sparred with, which was I think it was McCline. It was Deontay, and he said this kid hit so
Yes.
hard, um, which makes me think, you know, Deontay has obviously this freak show like power, and he has these real thin legs, right?
Yes.
But he has a pretty broad, like his chest goes up like a V, and he almost always punches down. Where do you think, or what do you think? How does he generate this Superman-like power?
One, I believe, is his speed. I also believe it's God given. A lot of people don't recognize that the punches that you don't see coming is the ones that hurt the most. And I think Deontay first step to get there before the opponent can actually see the shot coming has a lot to do with his power. And physically, he's very, very. If anyone ever hugged Deontay or grabbed him, you could feel like he's a specimen. His body is just hard. So I'm sure when he punches these guys, and I'm one of these guys that it feels kind of like everything besides a regular punch. It comes across like, how can I put it, like you're getting hit by something that's not human.
So
Like, you know what I
you
mean?
you fought him as well,
Yes.
right? Was that the hardest punch you've ever felt as a
No, the hardest puncher I've ever been hit by was Deontay. But when I felt how hard he punched, it was with 20-ounce gloves. And when me and Deontay fought, Deontay has a good left hook. You can ask Eric Molina, someone that he clipped with the left hook. You can ask the Arthur Spilker, someone he hurt with a left hook very, very bad. Romain Stavern, these guys. He has a very, very hard left hook, and it's so long that it come across as slapping. But he hit me with it on my temple, and my equilibrium was off immediately. Now, was that the best punch Deontay can throw? No, absolutely not. But he caught me early with a slapping left hook from a heavyweight on my temple. So that's what that was. So we'll say in the fight, that wasn't his best punch, and I thank God for that because obviously, that because if I had issues with a slapping 10-ounce punch, I can only imagine if he was able to have the chance to turn one of those right hands over on me. But that wasn't his best punch, but it definitely was a hard punch that caught me
Okay.
at the perfect time, behind my guard on my temple and knocked my equilibrium off. But the hardest punch I've been hit with was Deontay, and that was with 20-ounce gloves on.
Okay.
It's
You
different.
know,
It's different.
I always wanted to ask you this. There's some clips of Deontay hitting the pads with you,
Yeah.
and sometimes when he throws his left hook, he almost lands like right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, a lot of times it comes from the amateur background. It's really a European style left hook, but Deontay have also had issues with his left shoulder at times where he can't actually turn or he couldn't actually turn his left hook a certain way. And thank God he was able to get that fixed because now he could turn his left hook properly. The guy he's not the same. He doesn't have the same body he had 10 years ago. So we all get these cramps and we all get these injuries and, things that come along during time. And one of the things was that right there. So he was just throwing the left hook, the best that he could. And that left hook is actually a good left hook. It's just a different left hook. It's not like it's not a sweeping left hook. It's not a four knuckle left hook. I call it like a European style left hook that you learn a lot from the amateur background because they teach you to do everything long and they teach you to do everything with your first knuckle, especially when you're throwing your left hook. So that's what that is. That's just one of the left hooks that he throw.
Okay, okay. Um, do you think Francis Ngannou would have a chance in hell
With
against
so, no, I
Deontay?
think I think Francis is too big to beat Deontay. I think he's too big, and I think he's too inexperienced to beat Deontay. I think Deontay knocks Francis out
What do
cold.
you mean by too big?
I think the bigger you are with Deontay, and if you're not a Fury and you don't know how to, if if you don't know how to box and you don't have experience in boxing and know the ins and out as far as how to be a big man when you're boxing Deontay, I think the bigger you are, the worse it is for you because that means the bigger you are, the more weight you carry, the more lack of defense you're gonna have. And to me, all three of those is a recipe for disaster when you're fighting the hardest punch in the history of the sport. So I just truly believe sometimes somebody pluses can be a minus against a hard puncher. So we'll say like I've been very, very big lately on the studies of Razor Reddick and it's very peculiar that I've been doing nothing over these last 2 weeks but watching Razor Reddick. And because sometimes I watch fighters because they teach you what not to do. Razor Reddick was a very, 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 very horrific puncher, but he did almost everything that he did well against other guys. It played well for him to do those against Mike Tyson. Razor Reddick would get close and he wouldn't have an inside game. He would make silent agreements. Razor Reddick was a big man with long arms. He hated to jab. Razor Reddick would be in the inside and didn't know how to tie up. All those things is a recipe for disaster when you're fighting Mike Tyson. So then when you see Mike Tyson fight Razor Reddick, it's like, oh, yeah, he can punch. But literally, that's all he can do in his decision making. That's all he wants to do. So what do I mean by that? Razor Reddick, they brought Floyd Patterson in to train him. They brought Hanks Martin in to train him. All these trainers, all they try to do was make him jab. You can hear Floyd Patterson in the corner saying, stop, I literally begging him, please jab. He would not jab. All he wanted to do was get close to you and throw that smasher punch that he knocked everybody out with. But if that's all you had against a Mike Tyson, that just was a tragedy for you. So we'll say like explosive wise, if someone see Razor Reddick fight and see Buster Douglas fight, they'll say, oh, Razor would beat Tyson much more better than a guy like Buster Douglas. Absolutely not. Buster was mobile. Buster didn't make silent agreements in the inside. Buster believed in his jab. Buster believed in combination punching. So yeah, he wasn't probably explosive as Razor Reddick, but the tools that he had will work perfect against an opponent like Mike Tyson.
Right,
Boxing goes like this, like a Z. Boxing doesn't go parallel. You know what I
right,
mean? So a lot of times that phrase "styles make fights" is very cliche, but it's not a statement more truer. Because if you ask me, I believe that Crawford would give Canelo a better fight than anyone in Canelo's division, even though Crawford is a smaller guy. So we'll say why. Because Crawford attributes reminds me at times of a Floyd Mayweather attributes, if not a little bit more aggressive. So if you think about it stylistically wise, he'll give Canelo more problems than anybody. I said this 4 years ago. If Canelo stays around long enough, I believe Boots Ennis will stop him. If he stays around long enough,
Is
and they both stay with PBC, I
is that the
I truly
Philly?
believe.
Is that the Philly talking in you?
Bro, I swear, absolutely not, bro. I swear it's not, absolutely not. I always think about this fight, and it's crazy because Boots is not even in his weight class. But I know where Boots is going as far as weight division. He's a
I
big
agree
guy.
with you. Yeah.
Like I truly believe that him fighting Canelo is an awful style for Canelo to deal with, and he's a puncher. No, 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 no.
You know, I interviewed Sugar Hill a few years back. This was right around the time before Anthony Joshua had lost, and he was, and I go, who do you think? I asked him, who do you think is more dangerous to fight, uh, Anthony Joshua or Deontay? And he didn't even think for a second. He goes, Deontay. I go, well, why? He goes, well, he covers so much distance so quickly, which is what you were saying with the speed.
Yes.
Um, and it really gives you an idea of like how much of a challenge that is to deal with.
Yeah, because that means he could get there like in a very, quick of a time. And if you like most fighters to me nowadays, not to come down on our era, but most fighters don't drill boring. Most fighters don't know how to deal with timing. The only thing to me most fighters know how to deal with now is power or speed. No, you got to deal with timing. If you're not training to deal with someone's timing, oh, you slide down a razor blade into an alcohol river because there's certain fighters out here that to me they're not. You think Antonio Tarver was the fastest? You think Antonio Tarver punches the hardest? You think Antonio Tarver was the most magnificent explosive? Absolutely not. But what he had was a great base and incredible timing. And to me, if you have a great base and incredible timing, to me, you could be one of the best fighters in the world because all you have to do is be fair at everything. But if your timing is great, to me, you have Mike McCallum is not rapidly fast. Mike McCallum was an explosive puncher. Mike McCallum wasn't, you could say, Pernell Whitaker, fancy, slick, slick, slick. But what he had is what Larry Holmes had: incredible timing, a very, very good base, and a big heart. And I think, to me, those are like my favorite attributes when I see in a fighter.
Hmm.
The Nowadays, like we're in a time where people are just looking at hands because they look at boxing as just all about punching, when really boxing is just all about positioning. Because if you're not in the right position, I don't care what punch you throw, it mean absolutely shit.
Right.
Boxing is about positioning, and so is UFC. I hate to like cross relevant, but so is UFC. And if you want to see what I mean by that, just go look at someone like John Jones. He's beating guys with incredible timing and having a very good base. John Jones is not some flashy, extremely knockout artist, but he's very confident in his base. He's very confident in his grappling, and the timing of his grappling is incredible. You know what I mean? And I revert that to, you could say, Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez is a southpaw. He's not rapidly fast. He doesn't punch the hardest, but he has incredible timing. Incredible timing. And you
Right.
work on incredible having incredible timing by doing boring drills, making yourself do it. Not just 3 rounds looking out the ring, talking to your friend, doing it with intent. Drill boring. I'm telling you, it's really, really the key. But we're in this sport as an instant gratification sport, and it's about who's first, and it's about who's looking the best. It's really not about who's doing the most sufficient work, because the sufficient work is where you see the good timing in. Right, you know what I mean? Some fighters
Right.
are blessed with incredible speed and incredible timing. Hint, hint, Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones had incredible speed, lightning, but his timing was even better. You don't knock
Hmm.
Reggie, you don't stop the Reggie Johnsons and beat James Tonys and beat these certain guys. The right hook he hit Virgil Hill with, that wasn't just because it was a good hard punch. It was the timing he threw it. He threw it right when Virgil was being offensive with his left side. Nobody can defend their left side when they're being offensive with their left side. Humanly impossible. But if you time it well, you can get what Roy Jones got, and that was an incredible body shot knockout.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Uh, okay. So I guess. a big question everybody's wondering is what's next for Wilder? What do you guys got planned? What do you guys want? Or if not, if you don't know, what do you want to do next?
Uh,
Either or.
right now, the heavyweight division is in like you could say it's in a carnival session right now because you have Joshua and Ngannou tied up. You have ain't that crazy how we have to consider Ngannou as a part of the heavyweight division plans? It's
One
crazy,
fight.
but
He takes one
one
fight.
fight,
And
one
like,
fight. But you got AJ tied up with Ngannou. Fury and Usyk is tied up with each other. So Fury and Usyk is being tied up with each other. That means a rematch clause. And so it's no telling when their thing is going to be done. So now we actually have to look down the list to see who's available. And whoever's available, may God be with him because Deontay's on a vengeful tour. He's very, very angry. He wants to hurt people and he's doing things the right way. And when he's doing things the right way and holding himself accountable and moving with humility, you know, I still believe he's the most dangerous fighter in the history of the
so
sport.
we're seeing a Wilder that's a little bit different than what we saw in his last fight. He kind of has that spark back.
I believe so. I don't believe the spark left. I just believe on that night he just had a bad day in the office. I truly do, man. And it's because I know the man so well. I know that wasn't him. Even when I was talking to him in the corner, he was looking at me in his eyes. But when he was going out there to operate, he wasn't doing exactly what I was telling him. He was attempting that time, but not doing it enough. And even him on an off day like that, all he had was a bad day at the office. If Jospeh Parker would have been anything less of himself that night, in my opinion, he would have went to sleep. That's Jospeh Parker's best performance to me.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think Joseph Parker did well, but I saw a lot of after a few rounds, Parker knew that there wasn't much coming at him, so he got like more
Braver,
confidence, more courage.
absolutely.
Right, right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Uh,
And Deontay allowed that. Like, you know what I mean? And is that a bad thing? You could say, you know, maybe yes, maybe no. But he just wasn't taking enough chances. He wasn't putting his will on Joe, and he just wasn't. You know, he just wasn't pulling the trigger on a lot of things we had
how
planned.
how badly do losses like that affect you
Um,
mentally, mentally, whatever?
I would mentally not at all because I know what comes with this game, wins and losses. Someone has to win, someone has to lose. I could feel very, very strongly that, you know, my horse is going to run circles around someone. But then if it doesn't happen, it's not like a big downer to me. Like, does that mean I'm comfortable with losing? No, that means I'm comfortable with life. And I know what happens with life. And what happens with life, you lose and you lose in ways that you didn't think you was going to lose. But then you got to move forward. That's just what it is. You just have to move forward. And moving forward, I haul that's right back here to Brick House Boxing Gym. I continue to train the people I'm training. And I'm looking forward to
I
doing
guess
big things in boxing like I was before the loss.
so. There's no specific fighter you guys like, maybe Zhili Zhang. There's nobody you
Yeah,
guys are looking to go for since.
yeah. We was looking for Jilly Zhang. That was almost signed and done. But, you know, nature had it that it just wasn't meant to be. And Zhang and Joe Parker's fight. And I'm sure that's a compliment because Joe beat Deontay. So it actually made more sense for the Saudis. It made more sense, I guess, for, you know, the fans or what was legible for the actual fight card, for promotion, whatever. So I understand the business. I understand how life go. I understand wins and losses. I don't know what my record is. I think it was 39-3 or 40-3, whatever it was. That means I won 40 times and I lost 3 times. My amateur record was 70-3. That means I won 70 and lost 3. It's humanly impossible for me not to understand wins and losses. I know how it feels to lose and come back. I know how it feels to be knocked down and get up and win the next fight. I know how it feels not to be knocked down. I know how it feel. Everything with me in boxing comes from my experience, my knowledge, and my willingness to teach. So I don't really take these things really that hard because I have a clear understanding that life goes on and you got to be better the next time you up on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great motto to have. What about fighting Jared Anderson?
I, I know I don't have no interest in Deontay fighting Jared Anderson. I have interest in Jared Anderson actually fighting though. Like I have interest in Jared Anderson being mixed in with the top 5, top 10 guys. It seemed like Top Rank is like really tiptoeing with him now. I don't know if it's because the Charles Martin fight, they didn't like how he looked. He got hurt a couple times, but it seemed like the noise with Jared Anderson has went down. And this is just what it is. I think the kid is a good fighter. Like, he has a lot of potential, but it seemed like the noise has went down. It seemed like they're not pushing as hard as they was. They was on a steamroll at one time. It seemed like they slowed things down, and it actually seemed like Jared hasn't. He's not vouching. You got to campaign for fights nowadays. Like, you have to get.
Right.
You actually have to. Muhammad Ali campaigned for fights. Ray Robinson campaigned for fights. Camacho campaigned for fights. Floyd Mayweather was calling out Oscar De La Hoya when he was 130 pounds, and Oscar was 47-pound champion with so many fights. You got to campaign. Like,
Yeah.
if you're promotional, if you're manager, if you having issues and you can't fight, you got to get on these interviews with you. You got to get on these interviews with Ellie, with Showtime, whoever it is, and vouch for yourself and stand up for yourself and say, this is what's happening.
Right.
Like, you just have to. When these guys is getting treated any kind of way and they're just kind of going with the flow and they're not communicating loudly, publicly about it, it makes me think that they're actually comfortable with not being active. They're actually comfortable with going without. They're comfortable with not being mentioned along the best in the world. And and you have to keep in mind, a lot of these guys, it take personality. It take a level of cojones to get up here on these cameras and vouch for yourself. So one may say, well, I'm not about talking. But we're in a time where you have to vouch for yourself. If your promoter manager is not raving for you, you have to rave for yourself. You have to
Yeah.
show the public. Make the public knock on your promoter's door. Make the public call your manager. Make the public say, yo, what's up with this guy, man? He got these skills. He's this, that. He's undefeated. Get him the fuck in the ring.
Right. Right.
You have to campaign for fights. And campaigning for fights is really campaigning for your life. That's how I look at it, because boxing is life to me. At least it's my life. And I'm sure it's these lives of these guys. Maybe not, though, because I seen an interview of Jared and he's like, I didn't ask for all this
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from a place of wanting the best for him, but he's looking at it like, I already did what I can do. It's the pressure. I can't do, like, he's like, and then what does this come with? It come with, the mental issue, probably, man. Like, I really just want the best for everybody. And
Right.
that's like very, very rare in this world, because I could not know you. I've never had one conversation with Jared Anderson, but I want him to get what he's supposed to get out of this game. I want him to get what somebody of his potential and his size and his attributes can get out of this division.
Yeah.
Like, I just want the best for him, and I want to see him fight, because I want to film study him. I want to film study him and his opponent. I want to, like, have my cigar and my little coffee and be looking at the Jared Anderson fight, because one, I'm a student of the game. So when guys is not fighting, I take it personal, because I'm looking at it like, wait, this guy is good. What is going on? Why are they putting this guy in front of him and not this guy? Why isn't this guy getting the praise when he has all this talent? Jared Anderson have the look. He has good power. He has speed. He has size. He has a smile. He's with good people. Why isn't he fighting? Why isn't his name being mentioned? So you telling me, like, Jared Anderson won't give Jospeh Parker a damn good fight? Jared Anderson won't give Andrew Ruiz a damn good fight? Jared Anderson can't fight on one of these Day of Reckoning type of cards and make some noise, but Jarrell Miller can? But
Right.
Daniel Dubois can?
Right.
Like, no, this is a
The
problem. And this is a problem.
business. Right. The politics.
This is a problem beyond the boxing ring.
Hmm.
But we won't know who's the real problem if the fighters are not campaigning what's going on in their life. Because
Yeah.
it comes across like, if you're not fighting and you're not saying you're not fighting, and you're cool with just laying in the back, you come across like, oh, he's cool with being inactive and just getting a check from his manager every week or every month, his stipend or whatever. He's cool with that.
Yeah.
You got to be fighting, man. You just have to be
Yeah.
fighting. Like, you just got to be fighting. Because and I say this from a place of concern, because the window is this small. It appears this big. It's this small. Before you know it, we're gonna be in
Yeah.
2040. God has it that I'm living, and then your time is up. 10 years went by. Now
Yeah.
another young guy is coming up. Then after him, the shit life keep going. It doesn't
Mm.
wait. And in boxing, life really keep going, because
Yeah.
these fans are fickles. The journalist got to get the story. The promoter got to get the next best thing. The manager got to continue to feed his family and look for other talent. Get what you have to get while it's your moment. Like, you know what I
Exactly. No, you're
mean?
absolutely.
Get what you
Yeah.
have to get. Like,
Seize
shit, man.
seize the moment. Seize it.
Got to seize it. You got, and if that mean, man, I keep bringing up Tarver because I remember when Tarver was campaigning for Roy Jones' fight,
I remember
and
that.
he was dealing with all type of promotional manager issues. He had a bronze medal from the Olympics. He had a decorated career. He was undefeated. He came back and knocked people out that beat him. You got to campaign. You have to campaign. All that old. I do my action, my talking in the ring. Well, if you don't ever get the fuck in the ring, how we gonna hear you talk about anything? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, it's become, because you know how boxing is. You're absolutely right. You have to seize the moment and make as much money as you can, because nothing's guaranteed in boxing,
nothing
and nothing's guaranteed
guaranteed.
after boxing.
Nothing is guaranteed, man. And I want everybody to get what they're supposed to get because these guys have families, these guys have children, these guys have a future, and these guys are human. And I didn't see boxing chew guys up and spit them right out when they're no longer good for them. And I don't like that. That's a sad case to see. I get goosebumps talking about it. It's just, I don't want that for even guys that I
Right,
don't know. I want guys, I know what it feels like to come from nothing, man. And me coming from nothing and not having nothing at all, when I see people in a position and I want them to get more, it hits a little spot with me because it's like, come on, man, let's fucking go. Get on TV. Knock guys out. Get the praise you're supposed to get the money. I want to see you in the big house. I want to see you investing your money. I want to see this for guys. I don't
right,
have to know them.
right,
It's
right,
just
right.
what I want to see. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. Just wishing the best for everybody, and most of all, man, I can't wait till Deontay get back in the ring because I still believe in him more than ever, and I still believe he can become two-time heavyweight champion of the world. It's just all up to
Well,
him.
let me ask you something without giving too much away, but we see now that he's doing a lot of movement, right? Do you have Is it your goal for him to move a lot, mostly, or is that just something you're going to mix in between the old style and the new
My
style?
goal is to give Deontay options. My goal is to get him to understand that a lot of times if you're going to a guy and you're constantly missing him, maybe that guy need to be knocked out while you're backing up. Maybe we got to catch that guy over committee and then knock him out. So one would say, yeah, but he knocked out everybody going forward. He knocked out everybody doing this. Yeah, well, he probably did, but he's at a point in his career that now he needs options. And sometimes that way don't work anymore. And sometimes even if it do, it doesn't hurt to just know how to do other things.
Right.
Will Deontay ever be a Muhammad Ali dancing around slick Pernell Whitaker? Absolutely not. But what's wrong with him knowing how to step to his left and step to his right and stepping back and still be explosive? Absolutely nothing. If he would have knocked out Jospeh Parker on the back foot, people would have been praising my name.
Yeah.
People would have been praising Deontay. It
Yeah.
just didn't work that night. And if you look in the corner, I'm literally telling him it's time to start punching through him. You have to go forward.
And he just,
He
yeah,
couldn't pull the trigger. He just
yeah.
couldn't pull the trigger.
And
That's all
that's
it was, man.
that's literally the only fighter he's never knocked down that
Yes.
he's faced, right? That's the
Yes.
only one.
And brother, you got to keep in mind too, like my transparency doesn't just come when I'm right about something. I'm very transparent if I'm wrong. If I truly believe that I was wrong about something, I don't care about you people enough to lie to you. I don't have a problem with saying, hey guys, I get it. I see what y'all saying. I went about things the wrong way. I had Deontay moving too much. We did no. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But when
I
I'm
got you.
on it, I'm on it. Like I have it's not people make it seem like a trainer can't be wrong. It happens.
Yeah.
Trainers are not superheroes. When a fighter look damn good, great, everybody praise the fighter. When the fighter doesn't look good, they come right to the trainer. I understand that because I come up in this shit. So I'm
Yeah.
fine with it all. You know what I mean? But if I was the case, I would say, no, that was on
No,
me. No,
I know.
we,
I get it.
we
And
gotta, we gotta, we gotta, we gotta do something else. I would go to Deontay and say, bro, how you feel? Do you feel as though I'm giving you what you need? If not, then who you think we should bring on? Deontay was my brother before he hired me as my trainer. This, this trainer fighter relationship is not what make us extremely close.
right.
Like we was close before this. We're gonna be close after this. After he retired, we're gonna be close. When our kids gonna be playing next with each other. Like it's bigger than boxing with this dude. So I have no reason to lie to him.
Right.
I
Right.
have no bro, it's not just me in the corner, it's legendary Don House. You think Don House is just our cut man? No, he's one of our trainers. You have Cuz Hill, he's our assistant. You have JD's who also is a trainer who basically taught Deontay brought him to this level. You know what I
Right.
mean? So all
Right.
of our minds together, what is all of our fault? No, absolutely not.
No,
Boxing happened. Life
no,
happened.
no, you're right. You're right. I get that. I remember, you were saying those things, and he didn't just go back for some reason to his instinct to go forward. He just kept doing whatever he was doing. So,
Absolutely, but if you can't teach an old dog new tricks, then why didn't that old dog just rely on his old self?
right.
Why didn't he just say, "Man, fuck"? If it hypothetically, if it was me, then what stopped Deontay from saying, "No, fuck this, man. I'm going to go get him"?
That's what I'm
What?
saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Um,